Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. This is kind of like an impromptu video. Not really. I just recorded a really freaking heavy video. I don't know if it's gonna be up before this. Probably not. It's probably gonna be up after this. I'm wearing the same outfit. I'm in the same spot. It's very gloomy. It's kind of sad. But I needed something to cheer me up afterwards. So I decided that I'm gonna tell you guys stories from a retail worker. As you guys may know, I do work in a store. I work customer service at a store. Not gonna say what store it is, because first of all, against company policy. But also, I'm comfortable. Personal information you don't need to know. So these are stories of a retail worker. As you can imagine, working customer service in a retail store can be a nightmare. Literally every single day, dealing with angry customers. Literally every single day, doing returns and returns and returns and returns and returns and returns and returns. Especially after Christmas, that is the worst. But yeah, my least favorite thing is definitely the angry customers. Or just, and I'm gonna be honest here, the stupid customers. This may be rude to say, but there are some dumb people in the world. First thing I want to talk about is the fact that people cannot read. So in a store, you know, you're walking through, you see an item, you see a sale sign nearby. You might read the sign, you know? You might read the sign, see what qualifies for the sale, because it's like, ooh, 30% off sweaters. But right below it, it says $24.99 and up sweaters. So, you know, normally you'd read that, you'd try to find a $24.99 and up sweater to get it for that sick sale price, am I right? No, they don't do that. They read 30% off, they grab something, they bring it up, and then they're very angry when it is not on sale. So this is usually how it goes. I'll be the customer over here, then I'll be me over here. Hi, how are you today? Oh, I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Do you need a gift receipt today? No, that's fine, thanks. Okay, beep. Excuse me, that was supposed to be 30% off. I don't think so. One second, let me check my flyer. Flip, flip, flip. Oh, look at that, it's not on sale. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It's actually not on sale. It's all of the sweaters that are $24.99 and up. That's not what the sign says. And this is when I want to go. Actually, if you read this sign, you would see that's exactly what it says, sir. But you can't do that, can you? I had to say it in a much nicer way, you know, in my retail worker voice, where I'm just like, I'm so sorry, sir, but yes, it is $24.99 and up sweaters. In which case, he would go, well then I don't want it. Into which I want to respond, I don't fucking care. But you wouldn't believe how many times a day this happens. Anytime there is a new flyer out, people immediately read the number and then they just think it means for everything. It'll even say on the sign, like, this book and this book are on sale. But then they just see books and a number, so they think every book is on sale. Guys, does that make sense to you? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I read signs. Even just tonight, I was gonna go buy a Diet Coke, said 2 for $4. I'm like, ooh, sick. But you know what I did? I read the sign and I made sure that it was the 1 liter bottles that were for sale. I read the signs to make sure I'm getting the deal on the right product. Why don't normal people do this? Another thing that happens, especially at customer service, is someone will try to return a product and say that it is broken when it is not broken. At my place of work, we do sell toys, and I have plenty of these stories. If you ask any of my coworkers, one of their favorite things about me is when I prove to somebody that their toy is actually working, or their product in general is actually working. Like, it's truly a sight to see, because I get really condescending, I think. It's probably not good customer service skills to get condescending with people, but they're like, this doesn't work, and I go, oh really? How doesn't it work? And then they're like, when you press the button, nothing happens. And then I turn the toy on, and then I press the button and it works. For example, the first time this happened, this was actually a good, you know, interaction. This family came in, they bought a little microscope, and they're like, when we look through the microscope, even when the light's on, nothing's shining through. And I was like, that is super weird. Can I look at it for a second? They're like, yeah, sure. So I'm looking at it, looking at the microscope, and I notice that there is a lens cap on the end of the microscope. So I move the lens cap, and then you can see through the microscope. I showed this to the family. They are astounded. They're like, oh my gosh, like, thank you so much for showing us this. They didn't say it like that, but they thanked me multiple times. And they were on their merry way. They took their microscope. They thought they were gonna have to replace it, but no, they just had to take the lens cap off. They went on. They were happy. One of the other times this happened though, and this happens often. This lady came in with a toy where it's like a car and you're supposed to push a button and then it starts to roll. So I asked her what was wrong with the product. She says when she pushes the button, it doesn't roll. So I look at the product, push the button, and away it went. Just right across the desk. And then I said, well, it looks like it's working now. And then this lady just goes, yeah, well, I don't want it. First of all, you could have just said you didn't want the product. I don't know if she genuinely like didn't know how to work it, and then once she found out how it worked, she was embarrassed that she didn't figure it out or something. She was embarrassed that I like showed her up, and I was just like, listen girl, all you gotta do is push a button and it drives. Or if she just lied and said it didn't work so that she could return it with that excuse instead of saying she just didn't want it, which it's just easier if you just say you don't want the product. Because let me tell you, if you tell us a product is broken, we have to go through a system. We have to put it in the system by the item number. Then we have to go all the way to the back. We have to throw out the product. We have to go to the front. We have to print out paperwork. We have to fill out paperwork. It is time consuming. Just tell me you don't like the product and call it a day, okay? And the last story I have about a customer who came in complaining that a product didn't work, but it really did. There was a man, came in with this like sword contraption. With this contraption, you press a button, it's like all folded up. You press a button and half of the sword like comes out from the, I was gonna call that a sheath. That is not a sheath. From the handle of the sword, it just goes, so like half of it folds out and you're like, ooh, cool. And then you have to unfold manually the second half of the sword to make it like really long so you can, you know, fight with your sword. This man was absolutely positive that when you push that button, both sides of the sword are supposed to flip out. Not just one, both. Even though there was nothing that could possibly take the other half out. Like, it was just folded in. Like, you could see that there was no like mechanics inside. And when you push the button, it should make both halves fly out. Just the one. Just the one. Why am I doing this? This doesn't explain anything. So I explained this to the man. I was like, no, only the first half flips out and then you have to undo the second half. And he's like, no, I know this toy is supposed to flip out all the way. I want to return it and replace it. And I was like, okay, sir, that's not how it works. Like, look, I can show you. I even showed him on the back of a box and he was not having it. He was arguing with me for like 10 minutes. So I was like, sure, go get another one. We'll replace it. He goes, grabs another one. I do the exchange for him. And then he's still insisting as he's leaving that he's right and he knows what he's doing and he knows it's gonna work. And I so badly wish that I was there when he went home and he tried to flip out the entire sword and only the first half flipped out. And I just want to know what his reaction was. I just want to know. Another thing every retail worker understands is there's times of the year, especially during Christmas, when you have campaigns. You're trying to raise money for campaigns. So a lot of the time at cash, at checkout, wherever you are, the employee will ask like, oh, would you be kind enough to donate $1 towards whatever? And then, you know, you can say yes or no, which, to be honest, if they're asking you for $1, you should probably just say yes. It's a nice thing to do. Maybe that's just me because I work in retail, but whatever. Anyways, there's a lot of people who would just be the rudest of rude when you would ask them for $1. The way I would always word it, because it's just funny to think about. The way I would word it would be, would you be kind enough to make $1 donation towards blank? Because if they say no, then they're admitting that they're not nice. This older man came up the one day. We were having a great conversation. He was super nice and I was ringing him through. I got him his gift receipts and everything and I was just like, would you be kind enough to donate $1? And he looked at me and he said, no. And kindness has nothing to do with it. And I felt like looking him in his eyeballs and saying, yes it does, and you're proving to me right now that you don't have any of that. Like, he was just such an old dick about it. And then after that, he was like super rude. I asked him if he needed a bag, and he was like really pissy. He was like, no. I was like, okay, fine. So I gave him his products and I gave him his receipt. And he's like, I hope you remember that. I mean, like, this man was like probably 70 something. Like, shouldn't you be happier when you're 70? Like, spreading around more kindness. Like, your life's ending in a couple of decades at most. Like, be a nice human. But it was just very shocking to get that kind of behavior from what I considered to be a lovely old man, who then turned out to be a little bit of a dick. That's the tea, sis. I've also had, you know, products thrown at me from angry customers. I've been yelled at. We've had to threaten to call the cops on customers before. I've had like a plethora of rude customers. But those stories are for another time. Hopefully you enjoyed this little tiny look into my retail worker life. It's been a blast. No, but for real, I love my job, but working with the general public can just be very taxing on the brain. If you guys work retail or have worked retail, tell me some of your horror stories down below. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Also, I'm gonna bother you to please hit that notification bell. I don't know, but I do post 2 times a week, once on Mondays for Magic Mondays and once on Friday for regular uploads. If you want to see more of my content, do those things. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, all of my links are listed down below, and so is my Discord channel. I love you guys, and I will see you next time for another video. Bye!